Islam solved modern British problems 1,400 years ago. Let's see how.
I got this, what I'm about to mention right now, my brothers and my sisters, from the news tabloids, and I'm going to read it out to you guys. Bacon and alcohol increase stomach cancer risk. Allah Azza wa Jal told us this, my brothers and my sisters,
Both are haram.
1400 years ago, when the verses were coming down. But maybe it appears to an individual, this doesn't make sense.
Allahu Akbar. Yeah, it's like so interesting. Like, I remember back in the day when I was still in high school, and one of my Turkish classmates was giving me dawah. He said, did you know that like pork is an unhealthy meat? If you eat this, you have like health risks, this and that, and you know, like alcohol is how it's like destroying your brain cells, this and that. This is all forbidden in Islam, and only God knows the truth about like the human body, and said it to us that we shouldn't do this, and I was like, wait, what? I was like overwhelmed with information basically by this brother. May Allah reward him for this. I mean, like, yeah, I remember like having a discussion with one of my classmates before I became Muslim about exactly this topic that he's like talking about right now. Like,
my brothers and my sisters, why do we fail to understand that our intellects are limited? I say this all the time. You've accepted that your eyesight is limited. You can't see what's happening on Coventry Road. You can't hear that which is happening outside. Huh? All of these body parts are limited. Why do you fail to understand that your intellect is limited as well? Everything that Allah tells you is in your best interest, whether you see the wisdom in it or not. Earlier I told you guys my DMs are filled with people who are in haram relationships, and now they're struggling in so many different ways.
Like single
Why
parents?
don't you just listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There was hikmah in it for you, right? And then later on, a scientist, my brothers and my sisters, writes up an article, and then you say, oh subhanallah, Allah told us this, right?
Yeah.
But my brothers and my sisters, you should have just listened 15 years ago when you came across the statements of Allah. You know, recently, my brothers and my sisters, it was going viral. You guys,
you know, it's like interesting, before we get to this, very important, so about like how he, like Abu Taymiyyah receives like messages about haram relationships. I actually know a story about like a girl that is like a neighbor of mine, and she was in a haram relationship, and this was like an open relationship or something like that, right? So even though she was like with that person, they were like not serious, they never had plans to get married. And guess what happened? She got pregnant, and then they broke up, and she's now a single mom, and she's struggling with life a lot. She's struggling with work. She can't find a new partner because people are immediately like hearing, oh, she has already a child. So she's like pretty much canceled by the majority of potential partners she could find. And she's like emotionally struggling, and it's like crazy. Like when I saw this story, and I thought about like my religion and like how it's like forbidden to have like outside of marriage relationships, this and that. Like this really made my iman even rise higher, actually. Like, and it's not just her. There are like many stories like that.
You know, recently, my brothers and my sisters, it was going viral. You guys heard of Petronella Wyatt?
No.
Petronella Wyatt.
What about her?
He said no. Petronella Wyatt, my brothers and my sisters, is the ex-girlfriend of Boris Johnson.
Oh.
I'm sure we all remember him, right?
Yeah, I know him.
Sahih? She comes out and she says, I'm single, childless, and alone. Feminism has failed me and my generation. I'll read out the following as well, inshallah ta'ala, and I'll finish with that. This is, by the way, an article on the Daily Mail.
So it's not a Muslim page.
Right? An article on the Daily Mail. I'm just someone that quotes, my brothers and my sisters. I don't have my own views and opinions. Take it from the horse's mouth. Sheikh, I'm not going to say anything controversial, don't worry. Right? This research was done, and the title of it is called, Did the Feminists Burn Their Bras for Nothing?
Whoa. What does it say here? Let me read this. This is interesting. So did the feminists burn their bras for nothing? Majority of British women would pick being a housewife over having a career. Okay, especially if they're like older, right? Women aged 25 plus, did I just mention it, a bit older, in a relationship and full-time jobs were polled. 62% admitted they secretly wish to be a housewife. I mean, work can be stressful, right? Like, it's always better someone provides, I guess, right? 74% said they felt pressure from other women to be independent. That's true, because women gossip a lot, but even men these days do. So you can actually look on both genders. But yeah, now it is like, but usually it's like women that gossip more. That's like not always though. Like here in Germany, it's actually funny because usually they say, oh, women gossip a lot. But I have like experienced that men these days gossip a lot too, and it's insane. But yeah, 78% said they wouldn't mind being financially dependent on their partner. I mean, if you have a good spouse, right, someone that's like very good and you can trust them, of course it's better. Plus, who's going to look after the children, right? Like the children need someone too.
Majority of British women would pick being a housewife over having a career. Allahu Akbar. And then he said the following: women aged 25 plus in a relationship and full-time jobs were polled. I'm just quoting, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, you're just quoting.
Don't chase me out the masjid. 62% admitted they secretly wished.
That's a high percentage, yeah.
62%.
It's more than half.
Admitted they secretly wished to be a housewife. It's not Abu Taymiyyah saying it.
They should talk to their husbands.
74% said they felt pressure from other women to be independent. This is the British woman. 78% said they wouldn't mind being financially dependent on their partner. Hear it from the horse's mouth, my brothers and my sisters. Right? Every single ideology that you will come across, my brothers and my sisters, it is flawed. Yeah. Think about it for a moment. Where do you draw the line with regards to what is right and what is wrong?
True.
You're in a relationship. She wants X, Y, and Z, and you think that this is too problematic. And then she turns around and she says, no, you're being too controlling. Or she does something and you feel like that this is over the top. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
That leaves us, my brothers and my sisters, with no option other than to accept that there is a greater entity. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gives us rules and regulations to keep law and order with regards to ourselves.
It makes the society
Otherwise there will be
better.
chaos.
Yeah.
That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's regulations and laws for you, my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah.
فأعرض عمن تولى عن ذكرنا ولم يرد إلا الحياة الدنيا ذلك مبلغهم من العلم إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بمن اهتدى ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ليجزي الذين أساءوا بما عملوا ويجزي الذين أحسنوا بالحسنى الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش إلا اللمم إن ربك واسع المغفرة هو أعلم بكم إذ أنشأكم من الأرض وإذ أنتم أجنة في بطون أمهاتكم فلا تزكوا أنفسكم هو أعلم بمن اتقى أفرأيت الذي تولى وأعطى قليلا وأكدى عنده علم الغيب فهو يرى أم لم ينبأ بما في صحف موسى وإبراهيم الذي وفى ألا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى وأن إلى ربك المنتهى وأنه هو أضحك وأبكى وأنه هو أمات وأحيا وأنه خلق الزوجين الذكر والأنثى من نطفة إذا تمنى وأن عليه النشأة الأخرى وأنه هو أغنى وأغنى وأنه هو رب الشعرى إنهم كانوا هم أظلم وأطغى والمؤتفكة أهوى فغشاها ما غشا فبأي آلاء ربك تتمارى هذا نذير من النذر الأولى أزفت الآزفة هذا نذير من النذر الأولى أزفت الآزفة ليس لها من دون الله كاشفة أفمن هذا الحديث تعجبون وتضحكون ولا تبكون وأنتم سامدون فاسجدوا لله واعبدوا.
Wow, Allahu Akbar. Yo, this Quran recitation at the end was so beautiful, mashallah, Allahumma barik. But what Abu Taymiyyah here mentioned is like how every ideology is flawed, and we clearly see this. If you look at like the practices of modern day society, right, and the depression rate, how people are unhappy, then if there are like surveys being done, how, you know what like shocked me the most here, how more than 70% of the women actually said that others are pressuring them to be independent. So it's kind of like this in society, and this is something I have witnessed often, even in daily life, where like the friends or people around an individual have such a big impact on the actions and behavior of the Muslim or the human in general, right? And this just reminds me of even a hadith of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a comparison between a good and a bad friend, and he compared them both by saying the good friend is like the seller of musk. He will give you a good smell when you are with him, or he will sell it to you, right? And a bad friend, the comparison is like that to someone that burns the oven for the smith, right? And he will either burn you or give you a bad smell. And when you look at like this hadith and you think about it in daily life, right? Like you will see that this is so true, because if you're around good company, you become a good person. If you're around bad company, you often become a bad person. Unless you see some flaws there and you escape basically from this sort of friend circle or environment. So, wow. But yeah, it's like a very destructive lifestyle, right? And a lot of ideologies have flaws. Okay, let me guys give you a very, very extreme example, right? But let's say everyone became LGBTQT. Now you could say, in this ideology, right, you could say something, and this is a extreme, maybe a extreme sounding example, but there's like a lot of wisdom when you hear the end of my example. So let's say LGBTQT becomes the norm and there are no more marriages between men and women, okay? What does this mean? There will be no more human offspring, and then humanity will die out, right? Now, they could say in their ideology, humans aren't supposed to exist for another generation. Let's say they are preaching that, for example, right? Let's make a cut, end of humanity, last generation. Now, let's have a look at the last generation of human beings that no more marry, have kids. If they turn 70 years old, right? A lot will still be alive with 70, right? But they will have health problems and issues, and they need people to take care of them, of the elders, right? So now this sounds like extreme, but what are going to be the last 10 or 20 years for those human beings on this planet? Like imagine a planet full of old people, and those old people are sick, they need people to take care of them, they're driving a car, crashing into buildings, they're setting places on fire, and they have no one to look after them. And even though their ideology is the world will just end, let's say, right, because humans shouldn't exist or something, if they preach this, then what about the last 10 or 20 years for this generation? And you see a big flaw in this, right? So you need all sorts of ages on this planet, right? And humans, they create by a woman and a man comes together, and then the whole process you probably already know, right? But I'm just saying, like, those ideologies have flaws. Just like the ideology that Abu Taymiyyah just mentioned has a flaw, because if women work and the man works, right, then who looks after the children? So strangers have to look after the children. So the next generation, maybe they're gonna have some flaws in behavior or something, because you can't replace the mother love, like the love of the mother for a child, by a third person. This is a fact. Even psychologists say that a child is bonding with its own parents in a unique way, and a third person can give this sort of connection, right? So first of all, that from a psychological perspective, and you guys can look this up, I'm not spreading lies, look this up, what psychology say between the bond of a child to its biological mother and to some sort of nanny or something, because it won't be the same kind of bond. Psychologists confirm this, you can look this up. Second, if a woman has like a lot of expectations for a man, do this, do that, and do this and that, but she's always working and expects from the man always, right? Then it's not going to be a happy marriage, because the guy will say, wait a moment, you're working, you're making your own money, but you still expect me to protect you and give you money? Then why are you even working and this and that? Like, you know, like there are like so many also social flaws. And if a woman is working, then when she gets older and she's childless, just like Boris Johnson's ex here, right? Then you are like a woman's in her 40s and she's like, oh, I focused on my career and I never had children. I did not settle down with a man. And like some women are coming now forth in their 40s. You will even find some of their videos and complaints on YouTube where a 46-year-old woman, childless, not married, is complaining about her career lifestyle. And if she was younger, she would not even have went to university. She would have just gotten married in her early 20s. And now they're coming out with the complaints with 40 plus years of age. So yeah, Islam is the answer, and I see how it now solved modern British problems. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section. And if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time, inshallah.